Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Coin News Extra TV interview session. It's a beautiful program where we invite innovators, stakeholders, influencers in the blockchain, crypto, and fintech ecosystem to come air their view and the state of the ecosystem. So, what a wonderful one is the it is here. So we are going to be discussing the need for blockchain application in Africa. We're also going to look at the impact and future. So joining us to have this conversation is Charles Nwoko, who is the Business Development Executive, Remitano Crypto Exchange, joining us from Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria. You're welcome to the show, Charles.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Lee, and all the audience watching us from their house. Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. How is Asaba, Delta State today?
In the past week, it's been raining all day, and today has not been different. It has been drizzling since morning, so we are hoping to have the sun perhaps later in the day because we need some sun around here.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's the season we are into. So the sun will surely come. So for our audience who are joining us, whichever platform you are joining us from, for we are streaming across 4 platforms. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also on YouTube. So whichever platform you're joining us from, do well to like and share this live broadcast. And also do well to follow Coin News Extra TV across all social media platforms to stay up to date. Just at Coin News Extra TV. I'll be able to follow us. We will also be expecting your questions and comments if you have any of them. If you have any question, because this is an interesting conversation, a very insightful one is going to be. So we'll be needing, if you have more clarification in any area or any question or suggestions, do where to drop it on the comment section. Any platform you're joining from, we'll be able to have your question and answer them. And also do where to download the Coin News Extra TV app. So the having system, the having reward system is about to, the reward system is about to have. So if you have not downloaded it, do where to scan the QR code on the screen to be able to download it. That's for Android users. The iOS version is coming. Also, thank you very much. So before we dive into the conversation, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we continue with the conversation. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. And welcome back to the show. It's still Coin News Extra TV interview session. So today we are looking at the need for blockchain application in Africa, impact and future. Let's look at Charles. Let's get a brief about you and your background before we start with the questions that I have here.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Lee. So my name is Charles Nwoko. Before I got into blockchain and cryptocurrencies in 2017, I actually was working in a microfinance bank in Nigeria. That's AB Microfinance Bank, headquartered in Lagos. So I was with the bank for 4 years, and 4 years, that was from 2014 till 2017. Before I discovered cryptocurrency and Remitano, I got an opportunity to work with Remitano. Started off with Remitano as in the capacity of a customer support. It was basically an easy transition for me because I was also a client advisor at the bank. So it was easy to transition into a customer support on Remitano. And from my role as a support, I garnered a lot of knowledge about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It was really an early time for Bitcoin in Nigeria at the time. So I think one of the events that actually made Bitcoin very popular in Nigeria at the time was the MMM Ponzi scheme that was prevalent at the time. So a lot of Nigerians too came into Bitcoin at this time. And just like myself, I started gaining a lot of knowledge. So I worked as a customer support. Then I moved into a business development manager. And from business development, we also were part of the team in Remitano that built the fiat infrastructure for the company. So I guess that's just been my journey from the conventional banking to crypto exchange. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, interesting to see how you were able to migrate. It's a very, very good one. And also, it's encouraging for people who are out there looking for how they'll be able to migrate into the Web3, the crypto, blockchain, and fintech ecosystem. So let's look at the question that I have here, seeing that you understand this ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, before even transitioning to crypto. What are some of the specific examples of current or potential blockchain application that could address challenges that are unique to Africa?
Okay. Yeah, to respond to your question, I think we first need to understand what blockchain technology is. I'll just try to do a superficial introduction of blockchain because the term can sometimes seem abstract for people that are not in this ecosystem. So I'll just try to do a layman explanation as much as possible. So for blockchain technology, it is a decentralized and distributed digital ledger. We all know what a ledger is. It's an accounting book that records expense, assets, liabilities, and income as well. So this is a digital ledger that records transactions within a network of computers in a secure, transparent, and immutable manner. So that's just a, a simple definition of what the blockchain technology is. It's just basically a ledger. So from the definition that I just gave, I'd like to highlight two keywords, which are decentralized and immutable. When we say the blockchain is decentralized, we mean that it is not under any central authority like a bank or a central bank or a government. No central authority controls it, not even an individual. So it is decentralized like that. And also, another keyword I like to highlight is immutable. When we say transactions on the blockchain are immutable, it means any entry into this ledger cannot be altered or deleted. So once there is an entry and there is a consensus that supports that entry, it cannot be altered or deleted. If there is an attempt to alter an entry, it would affect previous entries, that subsequent blocks, and as a result, it will be rejected. So yeah, that is those are two words I like to highlight. Then there are some qualities about or features about the blockchain technology, and four qualities of the blockchain technology that makes it special and makes it able to improve any industry or any process you apply the blockchain technology into. These four qualities are: first, transparency; then the second is traceability; the third is secure; and the fourth is its ability to eliminate or reduce intermediaries. So those are four qualities of the blockchain technology. Then to go back to your question, the specific examples of blockchain application that could address challenges in Africa, I like to highlight on two. I like to draw my summation on two applications, just two applications of the blockchain technology, which are remittance and identity management. When we look at remittance, it plays a role, a very, very vital role in most developing countries because remittances from Africans in diaspora are a significant chunk of the international financing for most of these African countries. So, like for example, in Nigeria, the the total remittance inflow for Nigeria in 2022 stands at 19.2 billion US dollar. So imagine that kind of amount in an economy, a developing economy. It goes a long way to fast track development in an economy. So how does blockchain now improves international remittance? Yeah, because of the ability of blockchain to act without intermediaries, like a bank or an institution without an institution or a bank, it makes international remittance faster. Before, we used to have international remittance that would take this T plus 5 days, that's the transaction day plus 5 extra days before the beneficiary receives. But with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, within seconds, the beneficiary of such international transfer gets the value in their resident country in Africa. So it makes it faster, it makes it cheaper as well. Back in the day, we were having high charges when people would have to transfer from abroad down to African region. The fees were very high, but with blockchain technology, it has become very cheap. You can pay as little as $0.1 or 0.01, depending on the network you're actually doing the transaction on. So it can go as low as $0.01 just to transfer from developed countries like, say, United States of America, Canada, to a country like Nigeria. So it's now cheaper, and also it is now a lot more transparent because the money moves directly from the sender, say from the sender's wallet, and the receiver gets in his or her own wallet as well. So the process is now very transparent, cheaper, and also faster. So if blockchain is adopted, imagine if blockchain is adopted for international remittance, or let's say half of the entire international remittance that goes on, I believe more people will be open to sending money to relatives and families
Okay,
in Africa.
Charles.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you're making a point there. Oh, I know the transaction volumes are very high, and all the rest of them.
yeah.
The Africans in diaspora, they also making remittances back home here in Africa. So, what are some of the? Let's look at this way. Some of the barriers. What are the potential barriers or challenges that could hinder the adoption of blockchain technology across African countries?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I think first and foremost, if we are looking at barriers, we are going to be looking at the involvement of the government in the adoption of blockchain technology. First and foremost, I think there has to be a legal framework for the adoption of blockchain technology, in the sense that the legality of using such technology has to be passed by the appropriate lawmakers. Then also, if you are looking at barriers that will hinder, I think the government has to first of all practice 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 what they preach, in as much as a government might put out laws that supports the adoption of government blockchain and the use of cryptocurrencies. I also want to believe that government should also be key users of these technologies too, especially in public offices, because there are a lot of improvements that the blockchain technology can actually offer in public spaces, just like health record management. Blockchain can actually go a long way to make such government parastatals better. Also, in areas of token regulation, I think once there is a regulatory framework, because a lot of the application for blockchain requires tokenizations, and if there is no um, if there is no appropriate token identification like categorization into, for example, utility tokens and securities, it's very confusing for people to actually know which which token should I use for this X and Y transaction and which is best for other transactions. So I think those awareness and education, as well as the regulatory framework, has to be on ground. Once those things are on ground, people will use and the adoption will also increase rapidly and tremendously. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Because of our time, I know we're also going to get some questions from our audience who are also coming up with some questions there. So before we go for a short break and then take their questions, I just want to ask you this one question.
Yeah.
How might blockchain contribute to financial inclusion? I'm happy you have a financial background before you transition into the crypto space. So how do you think it's going to contribute to financial inclusion and access to services for underserved population in African nations?
Yeah, thanks, Lee. So yeah, for the underserved, there are a number of reasons why they are underserved. Why they are underserved, either due to geographical location or remoteness of the areas where they are. And when we start, we talked about some qualities of blockchain. It's it's able to operate without intermediaries. You don't need like a bank to use the blockchain technology. So people, no matter where you are in the world, you can still have access to the banking services through blockchain, because all you need, for example, we have what we call the DEX platforms. These are decentralized exchanges, and the DEX platforms, they actually operate based on DeFi, and DeFi is just a subset of the blockchain technology. With DeFi, these underserved persons in remote places or where you don't have the conventional banks located, they are still not just able to have monies in their wallets and also transfer between wallets, but they now have access to um, instruments like what we call yield farming. They can actually still stake. They can actually lend and borrow assets to carry out their day-to-day activities. So you see that blockchain is not just only um, giving these people access to hold fund in a secure place, but actually democratizing um, finance for them. Because when we talk about democratization of finance, we are looking at a system where persons, everybody have access to wealth creation. So from what DeFi exposes people to, you see that people can easily create wealth now just by staking, not just holding your money in a savings account somewhere. That's if you even have. Where there is no bank at all, you can still stake, you can still borrow and get yields on, and you can lend as well when you need. So I think blockchain is going a long way to help with financial inclusion for every persons on the surface of the earth. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles. So we're going to go for a very quick break. When we return, we continue with the conversation. And also, we'll be able to take some questions from our audience. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's still Coin is Extractive interview session. So we are looking at the need for blockchain application in Africa, impact and future. So it has really been so insightful so far with our guest, Charles Nwoko, who is the Business Development Executive, Remitano Crypto Exchange. So let me look at some of the questions from our audience, some of the questions they have here. So my producers are working on it. Okay, can someone trade on Remitano or just buying and selling? So Chi Nkem is asking, can someone trade on Remitano or just buying and selling?
Yeah, I'm not too clear with that question because buying and selling is trading on Remitano in itself. If the person is talking about perhaps sports and futures and all of those other kinds of tradings, those may not be, they are not actually available on Remitano, but we have our own unique products like you can do the swap, you can borrow, you can lend, we have the margins also on Remitano. So I think you can trade on Remitano besides buying and selling because we have some other features that allows you to trade. You can set your, just like the limit order on spots, we have a similar feature on Remitano where you can set your rate and you wait for the market to hit. We have a feature also that is similar to the stop loss that you can use to sell off even if you are not online. So I think you can trade on Remitano besides buying and selling.
Okay, the next question there is from Ago Aja. Does Remitano list crypto like other exchanges? If yes, how is the procedure and do Nigerians get opportunity to list, not like Binance and other Asian exchanges?
For Remitano, because of the nature of our business model, it's a P2P platform, and we only list according to the popularity of the coin based on the market cap. For example, when you go to, if you look at most of the coins that are listed on Remitano, they are either within the top 20 um, coins in terms of market cap and all of those. So you can't, for example, get a new token and expect to list it on Remitano. It's not a modus of operation. And we only list based on the popularity in terms of the market cap of the coin.
Okay, Agua, I hope that answered your question. Kai James is asking, do Remitano assist the adoption of crypto through education and funding?
Yeah, for I like this question a lot because in as much as Remitano, they do assist the adoption through education. But I personally, as a Nigerian, I still feel like there is a lot more that international companies like Remitano can do to accelerate crypto adoption in this part of the world, and also to help the improvement of the content of crypto adoption. When I'm talking about the content, we have a lot of professionals in this space at the moment, like the engineers, the graphic designers, the marketers, digital marketers. So I think international companies like Remitano, besides the education, they still have a lot more in terms of corporate social responsibility. I'm not one that would propose a quota where you must say have a workforce that will contain a percentage of Nigerians. That's the local content. I'm not one that will propose so, but I think they can have like programs like internship programs, accelerator programs, incubator programs for professionals and startup CEOs, that's startup founders, where they would help them learn real time where they will help them learn real time. It could be an internship program or an accelerator program, like I already talked about, so that
Okay.
even if
Trust.
you don't get to employ these people, but they get to learn real time with what you do on your platform. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, because of our time, I don't know if there are other questions. Janet Argo is asking just briefly, time is against us. With the government change in Nigeria, what do you think how regulations will be for the ecosystem?
Yeah, the government change is just official. They only talked about a taxation of 10% on 10% taxation, but there is still no framework as to crypto adoption or crypto regularity in Nigeria. So companies like Remitano, Binance are still waiting for a regulatory framework that would either allow them register and get licensed to operate and fully operate in Nigeria. So those frameworks are not yet on ground. So I still think companies are still waiting for the SEC in collaboration with CBN to come up with something so that they can get to register and have the license to operate fully in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we draw the curtain, I have one question from my side here. The last question from me, I've been able to take the questions from audience. How do you see the collaboration between local innovators, businesses, and international organizations driving the growth of blockchain technology on the continent, and how is Remitano playing a role here?
Yeah, thanks. This question is quite similar to what one of the audiences already asked. Like I said, there's a lot more that international companies like Remitano, Binance can still do within this ecosystem to improve the lots of professionals within the system here in Africa, and also founders here in Africa. Like I already said, what I feel is hampering big moves from these international bodies is a clear regulatory guideline. If there is a clear regulatory guideline, I think they are willing to set up incubators for startups, um, have programs like internship programs that will really enhance the quality of not just engineers but also marketers, designers, everybody in this space. So there's a lot more that still needs to be done, and the collaboration needs to be between the government, the international organizations, and the local collaborators as well. So I think, but the initiation has to first come from the government before perhaps the international bodies will take the lead. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. It has really been an amazing conversation so far. We looked at the need for blockchain application in Africa, impact and future. And also, we are very, very happy to have you walk us down on this conversation. Charles Nwoko, Business Development Executive, Remitano Crypto Exchange. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lee. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also for our audience, we really appreciate you bringing our time to joining us on the conversations. We really also appreciate your questions and all the rest of them. I know you really learned from this conversation. So do well to follow Coin News Extra TV across all social media platforms at Coin News Extra TV, and also do well to download the Coin News Extra TV app on your Play Store because the having system is by the corner. So, and also to stay up to date, we have an informative and educational videos inside the TV app and a lot of reward system. So thank you very much. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Bye. Bye.